I guess my advice is be flexible. Don't be afraid to try something new. And don't be afraid to fail. Because failing is how you learn.
So, Elisabeth, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
We are really proud that we can host you on our Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Maribor.
Thank you.
First, for our listeners and viewers, and also for me, tell me something about yourself. Where are you from which faculty, from which city?
So I am from actually a town outside of Chicago, Illinois, in the United States called Oak Park. I work and have been a faculty for 16 years at Concordia University, Chicago. Right now, I'm here at the University of Maribor and loving it on a Fulbright U.S. Scholar. I am conducting research. I am guest lecturing. Some things about myself. My area of research is really globalization of business curriculum, and I'm very passionate about having students from different cultures work together. So that's, I guess, a little bit about me professionally. Personally, I have a husband who is back in the United States and 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is 30 and my youngest daughter is 21 and finishing up her studies at St. Louis University in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, nice. Elisabeth, what attracted you to apply for Fulbright scholarship?
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to do it. And a lot of my roles at Concordia University, Chicago, were in international and multicultural development. I was the director of international programs. I was the chair of international academics for the College of Business. And so a lot of what I was doing was really centered around partnership and multicultural academics, building bridges with other universities and seeing where we could collaborate. And so the Fulbright was kind of the pinnacle to be able to be like recognized as a U.S. cultural ambassador was really kind of the dream I've always had. And as all dreams go, there's always a time and a place. And so it seemed that it was starting to get to a point where I was either going to do it or not do it.
Okay.
And so I applied, and luckily for me, I was accepted.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, Elisabeth, how many students does your faculty have? Do you know?
So, well, our entire College of Business, let's see, we probably have 500. So our college has about 500. We are a private institution, but we also have business students at the undergraduate, the master's, and the Ph.D. level. So we have it.
Okay.
Our students are all 3 different levels.
I'm listening to you and I can see that you're everywhere.
Yeah, you know what? I think just like every faculty in every university, you wear multiple hats.
That's true.
So my role at Concordia is an administrative role, assistant dean of faculty curriculum and instruction. And so when you kind of look at that role, it kind of encompasses a lot of the operational as well as the curriculum development in also assessing how we're doing. So I love the role. I love teaching. It's what I've been called to do. So I feel very, very blessed to be able to be in the role.
You're from the States. Now I'm wondering, Elisabeth, where did you find Slovenia? Why did you apply to our faculty? Why did you come to Maribor? Slovenia only has 2 million people. Where did you find us?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that because, one of the things I wanted to do was have a Fulbright in Europe, and I've always been interested in the Balkans.
Oh, okay.
I actually came to Yugoslavia when it was Yugoslavia back in 1986.
Oh, okay.
So I have been here before, but I started to do research on the different countries within the Balkans, And honestly, Slovenia
Yeah.
seemed to be one of the most interesting to me. And part of the interest has to do with the geographic differences within your country. You might be 2 million, but you have a lot of different regions and even different ways that you speak, depending on the borders that you have.
That's true.
So I think it's a very culturally diverse environment, even though you're kind of small.
Yeah.
And that's really what attracted me.
We have everything. We have mountains, we have sea, we have lakes, everything.
You have the Alps.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have wine country.
That's the most important.
Exactly.
What are your impressions of Slovenian people and, of course, our culture?
So we had an opportunity to talk before the podcast started, but I think Slovenian people are very thoughtful. They're somewhat reserved.
Mm-hmm.
They're very analytical. I think that they're also very precise, meaning they want to make sure they're right before they speak.
Yeah.
Those are just some of my impressions of kind of my experience in, I guess, my personal life here, as well as my professional life, and as well as the students and interacting with the students. So I think all of those are really incredible qualities.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that the people here are kind.
That's nice to hear.
It's true. I don't hear people yelling or slandering. I mean, maybe when they're driving a car, but other than that, not so much.
Maybe when we're driving a car, that's true. That's true. You had an opportunity to work with our students.
Did.
Which differences did you notice between Slovenian students and students from the States?
So obviously the Slovenian students had most of the characteristics I just described of being very thoughtful and analytical. I think the other thing that they were very committed to their studies and felt a sense of responsibility. The project that we did was a somewhat of a volunteer. It wasn't incorporated in a course, and they could choose to do it as a participation. And so this was kind of like on top work from all the other work that they had. And they provided in 2.5 weeks like incredible business strategies. And they worked very well with the students from Argentina. Of course, in every team, there's always challenges. There's language differences, there's time differences and things like that. But it seemed that they rose above that to provide really quality work. And so I think that was my impression of Slovenian students and working with them. And guest lecturing in different universities here. One of the things that I also found is that when you create an environment that's safe and open to discussion, the Slovenian students will really react.
Yeah, that's true.
But they also are reserved if they understand that it's a lecture, meaning they're not going to speak if, and I think that possibly the US students are more challenging of concepts, where Slovenian students might not agree with you, but they'll never probably tell you that they won't agree with you, where American students probably would.
Yeah, as Slovenian, we have to be pushed a little bit.
To kind of speak out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be challenged.
Yeah, and similar to what we were talking about, I think US students from a very small age are given a lot of self-confident messaging, and so then that kind of comes
There's difference.
out.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. I think that they're open to more risk-taking US students. I think that they're more vocal about their opinions. I think that the students are more connected in certain ways I think both are connected to social issues, but I think our students might be more vocal in kind of speaking out against certain things.
Did you also use different learning styles for us here in Slovenia that you use in the States?
No, I used the same. And that was kind of, I used for the lectures, I used gamification. So our learning styles are really kind of, well, my learning style and my research is focused on active learning and team interaction. And what I study is transversal skills. And transversal skills primarily are soft skills. And so a lot of what I study is how are we preparing future leaders? Do they have the communication skills? Do they have the time management skills? Are they able to communicate their point in a team environment? And so those are the elements that we're studying. And obviously for that research, it's important to have the same type of skills. In the lecture, we did a brand positioning with gamification, and I created kind of a competitive environment.
That's good.
Yeah, and the Slovenian students really rose to that occasion. So no worries. Like they'll compete on the global platform very well.
It's nice that you started this topic. You've implemented a very important project here at our faculty.
You think?
Yes, of course. Virtual International Hackathon.
Yeah.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You've brought together, I think, 25 students from Slovenia and Argentina.
I did. And
they got a chance to have this unique multicultural learning experience. That's a huge advantage for our students and also for students from Argentina. From my point of view as a student, we are really happy every time that we have a chance to connect with industry. Of course, we have to learn theory and everything in class,
100%.
But when we're going to enter the labor market, it's going to be important that we also have some experiences with the industry. And we are really happy when some experts come. But tell me, there's also an important role that professors have here. How do you see their role in bridging this gap between academia and industry?
So I think one of the challenges for faculty today is that they need to expand their pedagogy, meaning they can, but I think that students benefit from not only the theoretical knowledge that faculty have, because that's the underpinning of all new knowledge, but at the same time integrating what I call active learning, experiential learning, incorporating companies into courses as live case studies, having students really engage in what they'll be doing in the future so that they understand the real challenges they have, and also the integration of technology into curriculum and coursework. One of the things we did with the Virtual International Hackathon is we incorporated AI into the teams. And that was kind of new for us. It's new for me, and I think it was new for the students, and we had a lot of really great learning from it. I think I would improve it next time. One of the key insights was that we really needed to have the students have exercises with the AI as a team. My assumption was that they would have the assignment and just understand exactly how to use the AI. But I think the technology is really new, and I think the opportunity is, even though they're all from a generation of being digital natives, one of our roles as faculty is to continue to show them how to use these tools.
AI is also new for us. And
it's new
the
for
future.
Everybody.
It's the future.
It's new for everybody.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think as a faculty, you have to be vulnerable and open to learning with your students, that you can't always be the expert. You might be the expert in the theoretical, but AI is really a pioneering initiative that will take a group of different knowledge seekers to integrate it into the pedagogical and learning process.
Yeah, at first sight, I remember when this AI trend came out. A lot of people from academia, they were a little worried.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, of course. And I'm really happy that our faculty actually encourage students to use AI in their work, to just implement AI and not. They introduced AI to us like an opportunity and not a danger, actually. So that's, I think, quite important.
I think so too. And I think that one of the things that higher ed is challenged with is trying to figure out how to ethically use AI.
Yeah.
So that it is an enhancement in an efficiency initiative, but it's not a replacement for critical thinking.
No,
it actually should improve critical thinking because it opens up more possibilities. So that was kind of new for me in this virtual hackathon. But all of the reasons that you kind of described is why the virtual hackathon started. It really was born out of COVID and wanting to continue to engage with different universities during a time when we were all locked down. And so we were turning to technology for everything. And so this seemed like an offshoot of it. But then as this kind of has grown and we've had different partners and expanded our partnership, what we found is that students that might have the financial means to go and immerse themselves in another culture actually still get that exposure and experience. So the Slovenian students were actually working for Argentinian companies. And so to your point, they can then put that on a resume and people will, when they're looking at it, will say, oh my gosh, you worked for...
It's very important.
It's
think
really,
in our cities.
Yeah, and honestly, it's really important in the United States because I've had students come back as alumni and say, I got the job because they were like, what do you mean? You worked for a company in France or you worked for a company in Argentina? And so it is kind of like a little shining spot. And it's a way I think that, I know that you think the United States has all these opportunities, but our students are competing just like every other student on the global platform in the global economy. And so being able to connect them in a way that makes them more effective and efficient and really able to work in multicultural teams to not only, tackle business challenges, but also global challenges. Because as we were talking about earlier, I think that there's a lot of global challenges that these skills will really kind of help.
Yes, of course. Tell me, what do you think, how does these projects like Virtual International Hackathon reflects on a future of learning and maybe this multicultural collaborating?
Well, I'm probably on the end of the spectrum who would be a huge, advocate of this.
Yeah.
So my response would be obviously biased. My dissertation was on like the globalization of business curriculum and my research was in China. So I have like a focus that is very strongly in favor of this. I think academia is starting to recognize, just like every organization, the power of collaboration and the need for collaboration. I think that technology is reducing barriers for people.
Yes.
And I think it makes it easier to collaborate. I think that there's still opportunities, though, to learn different cultures and respect different cultures and not try and homogenize. I think that there's value in saying different cultures have different time requirements or different value of time, different language contexts, similar to what we were talking about. British English versus American English, very different, And so being able to still, celebrate those differences and respect those differences is really part of the education process too. It's not in any way to homogenize the global world. It's really to have people understand these differences, whether the country is big or small.
Yeah,
all contribute.
when we use technology, the world is actually really small, right?
It is super small. I can tell you that every day I talk to my family.
Oh, that's
while I was
nice.
here.
And what about the time difference?
7 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon they start calling, so I'm glad this is a little bit earlier. Otherwise they'd start ringing.
That's nice.
It is.
A lot of people at the labor market, when students come, they said, okay, you finished this faculty, okay, but what are your skills?
Mm-hmm.
Which skills did students gain from this virtual international hackathon?
So we really research 5 different areas, and the one that kind of bubbles to the top all the time is communication. Mm-hmm. It always has been kind of a critical element in not only communication from the standpoint of being able to speak a language perfectly, it's really the ability to communicate your ideas in an effective way. Sometimes, because my background is marketing, I'll refer to it as persuasive communication. Mm-hmm. Being able to present an idea and support it with reasons that would benefit not only the person giving the communication, but the other person. So in order to do that, you have to understand empathy, you have to understand what the other person is interested in, you have to have a sense of time management, being committed to a group, mm-hmm. and responsible to a group.
And respectful.
And respectful to a group, right? And not over talking someone, waiting your turn, listening.
Active listening.
Active listening is so critical, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a hard skill, at least for Americans.
Very hard.
Right.
Actually.
Because they get excited and they just want to get their idea out. So those are really important skills. The other element that we kind of research is understanding, I guess, how these skills correlate to the theoretical knowledge that you refer. So not only having a degree is very important, but now being able to actually utilize that knowledge and communicate that knowledge on a global scale is really, I think, the next level. And that's what we're hoping to be able to provide with some of these experiences and lessons, is that no longer can you just regurgitate the theory or provide the definition. You have to actually apply it to real challenges that don't have an answer. And sometimes people who have always had the answer find that really challenging because it's an unknown and there's risk associated with it.
Yeah. You've mentioned a lot about teamwork, about listening, about connecting with other people. And we can say like this, everything with one word, networking. I remember my field of study on this faculty was entrepreneurship.
Oh,
I'm an entrepreneurship student.
Yeah.
And I remember it was my second year of bachelor. There was one professor, he's retired now, Professor Miroslav Rebernik. And it was like actually an online session because it was a pandemic year.
Okay.
And it was a subject entrepreneurship. He was giving us a lesson. And he was saying, look, students, I can tell you everything. Who is entrepreneur? What is actually entrepreneurships? Which types of companies do we know? Everything about pitching, canvas, how to turn an idea into a real product. But you know what's going to be the most important thing? Your network.
Yeah.
It was actually, I think, also a question at the final exam. It was about networking. He said, you have to have a big network because the more the merrier. Mm-hmm. So what do you think, how important is networking in this cultural collaborating, international collaborating?
I think it's critical because what I have found is that it comes down to relationships. And so I think you have different levels of networks. And I think the closest level I call your board of directors for you personally. they're the people that if you have an interview, you call and say, how am I going to answer this question?
Yeah.
Or what should I wear? And so those are the people, or I need a reference, will you be my reference?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a different network than the 500 contacts you have on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm not saying both are not valuable. I think that you just learn to use networks a different way. And I think the challenge for people is that they don't understand the responsibility to networks, because as you continue to grow your networks, those people can also reach out to you and say, hey, can you help me with this? Or do you know someone? So I think sometimes a network allows you the ability to reach different environments, but in participating in that network, you're also, I guess, responsible to those that you network.
Yeah, of course.
So I think they're critical. I think that that's how I got this role here in Maribor. I reached out to Dr. Alexandra Pisnik through LinkedIn and said, I'm interested in, would you have
Now
me?
you're here.
And now I'm here. Because she responded.
Yes. Thank God.
Same.
I think a good opportunity for networking for students are also international exchanges, student exchanges.
Yes.
Our faculty is very good actually at this field, because I think we're one of the best ones on the University of Maribor. We have agreements with faculties all around the world.
I heard.
Yeah, but students, we are actually thinking a lot whether we should go or not on an exchange.
So now I'll ask you a question. Why? Because it seems to only be the hugest benefit.
Yeah, I know. That's true actually. Like you said earlier, I think that we need to be challenged. We need to be pushed, or just throw us in an environment and we will swim. And we will be very, very good. But it's hard to go. When we're there, when we're there, great.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my case. Yeah. I went to an exchange in the summer actually in Spain.
Nice.
I was afraid. I didn't know whether my English is good enough, whether I know I have good communication skills, so the teamwork was not like a problem for me. But it was hard to leave. But I would do it again.
Right.
But it was an awesome experience. But we're also considering a lot about different school systems. We started to also collaborating now with the States, with faculties from the States. What are the differences between our school systems and school systems in the States? Which benefits from the States could we take in Europe, in Slovenia, and of course vice versa?
So I think the differences are, from kind of an administrative standpoint, are the credit systems. And so we have a different credit system than you do. And so there's lots of different organizations that create equalizations. So it's very easy to be able to say, this group of courses is equivalent to this group of courses. Or you say, in order to get the credits that you need here at University of Maribor, you need to take these 2 courses in the US to equal this course. So those are all administrative things that can be worked out. But at the same time, I think some of the challenges or the opportunities that I have seen different international students take are courses that probably lend themselves more to the US, meaning entrepreneur courses. Like if you were an entrepreneur major, you might be interested to see what an entrepreneurial course in the United States is like. So we have seen students take more strategy courses, more entrepreneur courses. We've seen students take product development courses. My background is in marketing. So those are kind of the heavier courses, the courses that they think might enhance the area of study that they have. But most of the students who come to the United States, one of their biggest benefits is just living in the United States, being part of different groups or teams. Our campuses are very similar but slightly different in that we have a lot of dorm environments, and so it kind of creates this little nucleus, if you will.
Bubbles.
Yes, it's a complete bubble where everything is kind of in one area. So you live, you eat, you study.
Like a family,
It's a very strong community, and so I think that there's a lot of sports, like school-sponsored sports. So there's always a team activity that you could go. There's usually a lot of musical events and things like that you can participate in. But you're right, it's kind of like a community bubble, if you will. And so those are some of the things that might be slightly different.
A lot of Slovenian actually students go to the States because of the sport. I know a few of them, they're going to the Purdue University. They're tennis players, so a lot of them come to you in the States.
Yeah, because they probably want to experience what it's like to play in the U.S. at a collegiate level. And it's exciting, but it's also super demanding.
Yeah.
So
I know.
That's kind of the way.
Do you have maybe obligatory on your faculty that students go in the labor market to work for, I don't know, one semester or?
And we have courses that provide them credit for internship, both at the undergraduate level and the graduate level. Our curriculum doesn't require it, and one of the reasons that we don't is because in order to require it, you would have to be able to find all the companies for the students. And that becomes really challenging, and you almost need like someone full-time just find, and I think some of the bigger universities do require that, but the other reason is a lot of our students are in sports. And so having an internship becomes challenging, and some of them have jobs, but they're not internship level jobs. They're just jobs to be able to pay rent and
student work.
Exactly.
It's the same in Slovenia. So we are living in like a really rapidly digitalizing world. A lot of uncertainties, a lot of challenges, but also opportunities. Every day there are new opportunities. Tell me, what can we do, students, today to better prepare for tomorrow's job market?
Well, I think we talked about a lot of those elements, right? I think you brought up the idea of networking. And I think that building a robust network is really critical. I think challenging yourself to develop the skills, the transversal skills, as well as do really well in school. You know what I mean? So I think that just like for faculty, the bar keeps going up. I think the same is for students, and it's interesting because I'm sure it was the same here. When AI first kind of hit, everybody thought, oh, it will replace humans, we'll be out of a job. But I think what I see is it just actually enhances the skills that you have. And so it's just a tool that you can use if you embrace it. I think things that I have found that were critical to success is looking at things that you've never done before as an opportunity, rather than a challenge or a barrier. Having a positive outlook on life, being flexible, recovering from mistakes quickly, knowing you're going to make a mistake and not being afraid to make the mistake. Those have all been really key learning for me, especially here, because there were a lot of unknowns for me here. And I think having the vulnerability to kind of put yourself out there and then recognizing how many people respond to it, I think is really what's critical.
You were really brave that you came here.
Thank you.
I would do it.
Well, you did. You went to Spain.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the more that people kind of recognize that, to your point, the world is small.
Yeah.
People are kind. Fear shouldn't limit your capabilities. Continue to invest in your education. It might not always be a formal education, but it should be an education in some way. Read something new every day. Don't just scroll on social media. Read something of significance, right? That will kind of open your perspective to different ideas. Don't polarize your view, even if you don't agree with other people. Try and understand what they're saying and how they view the world, because it might add different insights to what your focus is, and it might enrich you.
That's true. You said that they have to do well in school, so I will take this opportunity because the exam period is starting in a few days.
I could see the stress level going up.
Yeah, this is going to be like a push for students. So go, learn,
Yeah,
and do your exams, pass them.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and that's always a critical part of this, right? Is that the commitment to kind of your academia now is to learn the theoretical, but also to be able to demonstrate it in an effective way.
And also to be a part of this big community.
100%.
That's also very important.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that the students who will be really successful are the ones who have the skills to collaborate and to work in teams and to be open to different cultural experiences and to be open to a variety of different ideas.
What do you think are the most exciting opportunities that awaits us on the labor market?
I don't know.
Every day something new.
I think so too. Yeah, I don't really know. It's so funny because it would be great to have the crystal ball that would be able to tell you exactly the direction to take.
I agree.
I think the areas that I see as growing and developing are really analytics. In having an understanding of analytics, even if you aren't interested in that field, being able to understand how you can combine it with the field that you're interested in, because data is going to drive decisions. And so understanding the analytical part of business, I think, will be critical to future success.
We just started actually a new master program at our faculty, data science in business.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big success because there's a future in it.
I agree. And I can see that as being a great support to marketing, to management, to entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every area that needs data, and I don't know any areas that don't need data these days, will have that. So I guess if I had some sort of crystal ball, that would be where I would invest some of my knowledge.
I hope our new master program would be in this crystal ball.
I hope so too. I think it will be a huge success.
When I'm doing this podcast, usually we have guests from experts from the industry, experts from academia, and so on. And my favorite question, I always ask this question.
Okay.
If you think a little bit, you can take time.
Okay, good.
What is the best advice you've ever received that influenced your career the most? It's a hard question.
It is. It is a hard question. And there are simple answers and long answers, so I'll try and give you the simple answer. My simple answer is don't be afraid to try something new, and don't be afraid to fail. I think that you can look through case study after case study of large organizations that have failed their organization or failed themselves by becoming too important, too big, unable to fail or thinking they were unable to fail by trying something new. So I guess my recommendation, and one of the other things I see is that small businesses and mid-sized businesses who are able to adapt and change quickly and, grow through collaboration are really the most successful ones. So I guess my advice is be flexible. Don't be afraid to try something new. And don't be afraid to fail. Because failing is how you learn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
At the start, you said that you're a Fulbright scholar.
I am.
How has this whole Fulbright experience influenced your personal career, your this international mobility, cultural exchanges, and so on?
Yeah, I'm still kind of experiencing it. I will tell you that the response from people when I've said that I've received a Fulbright has been, some people don't know what it is, which is absolutely fine.
Did you raise the glass?
100%.
That's nice.
But at the same time, I think that for me, what the Fulbright has allowed me to do was have an experience like this and be a cultural ambassador. And that's really kind of the pinnacle for me, is to be able to engage with people from different universities and continue that relationship afterwards. Be a member of a community that I had never gone to before. And so that's been really beneficial to me. I think it's really kind of broadened my views and allowed me to grow in ways that I would have never grown had I not experienced it. So I am very, very, very thankful to the Fulbright organization for having chosen me and placing me here, and also to my university for providing me with a sabbatical that allowed me to be able to do this. It's been kind of such a privilege and a luxury to be able to have this time to experience these things, conduct research, and meet all of you.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Yeah. The new year has just started. We're all looking in the future, looking forward to chasing new dreams, new goals. Tell me, what are your plans for the future? Are you currently focusing on some new projects, some new goals? Yeah,
I am actually. It's funny, you should ask that, because at the beginning of the year I try and write down like 2 or 3 goals. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like a list, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you get a new planner, you like put them
in. You open that on the last day of the year.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. And so my research focus will continue to kind of collaborate. We met with some different universities here in Europe to see if we can expand the virtual hackathon to other universities here that we have worked with. So continuing the virtual hackathon in a variety of different ways. Some of the colleagues here have identified different live case studies with different partners at L'Oreal and things like that. And I'm on a leadership board for Bruto Domačega, which is a AI platform that focuses on higher ed. And I'm on a subcommittee that's developing policies and kind of governances for universities on how to use AI. And so one of my interests is really to continue to grow and expand in understanding from an ethical standpoint on how higher ed can do that and to really kind of integrate it into my courses. And so rather than having students just write a paper that they can plug the prompt into AI and get back, doing more creative things like video, provide a video response or provide a response that will entail you interviewing someone else. So more of an application of it and kind of moving away from this, prompt response kind of curriculum. So those are kind of my goals.
Elisabeth, I really hope that at the 31st of December,
those are achieved.
Everything will be achieved.
I don't know. I'll be scrambling on the 15th of December, I think.
We are slowly coming to the end of our talk, and I have the most difficult question for the end.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful how you will answer.
Okay. Thanks for the warning.
Would you consider returning to Slovenia to teach or to just be a
100%.
part
It's not
of
hard
a
at all.
research process?
100%, yes. That's not a hard question at all.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
That's really nice to hear.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, I have. It's so funny because I've already been trying to figure out ways to connect our universities and look to different research projects, come back for International Week. Yeah, this is a second home to me.
Oh.
It really is. So yeah, that's not a hard question at all. That's an easy question. That was probably your easiest question.
Okay, thank you. Elisabeth, thank you for your time.
It has been my pleasure to talk
being
with
part
you
of
today.
our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for the honor of being here.
You are always welcome to our faculty, and we are really looking forward to more collaborations with you.
I hope so.
And I hope we see each other soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, you too.
All right.
Thank you so much, Elisabeth.
Bye-bye.